Autonomous cars are all the rage right now. People love to imagine a future from the Jetsons where commutes and car crashes are a thing of the past. But one of the biggest impacts of self-driving cars will be on an industry that doesn't get a lot of love: parking. So our country has this massive parking problem. Let's do a little math. There are over 250 million passenger cars in the United States that sit idle for 95% of the time. According to a 2010 study from UC Berkeley, there are 8 parking spaces for every passenger car on the road in the United States. The result is a country littered with over 6,500 square miles dedicated to parking, which is larger than the state of Connecticut. And yet, there never seems to be a spot when you need one. So how might this change with self-driving cars? First off, not all parking is going away. I'll let Simone Stolzoff from the Center for Automotive Research at Stanford explain.
One thing that people postulate is that the need for parking will change substantially as vehicles become more shared and more autonomous. And that's certainly true. Parking needs will change, but because of the cyclical nature of human travel, there'll always be a need for some parking. The question is, are you able to move it outside of the city and use expensive land for better purposes?
Many experts think so. The biggest reason is simply utilization. Remember that 95% number? Well, with autonomy, cars will simply be used more. The more time they spend on the road, the less time they'll have to be parked. Sterling Anderson, the former head of Tesla's self-driving program Autopilot, believes the decrease in parking demand will have a huge impact on how our cities look.
I'd love to see a reduction by 75% of parking space in cities. Whether we can actually achieve that, I think, will depend on a number of factors. But my expectation is that results in a significant societal benefit, right? Whether it's parks or office spaces or even in people's homes, their garages being turned into workshops and studios and additional bedrooms and whatever.
Not all of the changes will be positive. The obvious businesses with the most to lose are the parking companies, which make up a $100 billion industry. Tim Leonidakis, the former president of City Park, San Francisco's largest parking company, believes the industry will have to adapt.
The industry is being disrupted. The industry is changing, but the industry is not going away. And it will still carry on and it will redefine itself.
But if you think the utilization of these cars will increase, so too will the maintenance required to keep these cars running. Perhaps parking lots will begin to provide services like maintenance and charging stations for electric cars. But another concern of autonomy is how they'll change our consumer behavior. Will self-driving cars make us more lazy?
As we think about the future of mobility, both shared and automated vehicles, one of the things that we're concerned about is that as travel gets cheaper and easier, people will consume more of it. So some of the benefits that we get by putting more people in cars together or by making those cars electric might be offset by all the additional miles or kilometers that we end up driving.
Overall, self-driving cars have the potential to free up a lot of real estate in our city centers. Real estate that can be converted into bike lanes, parks, and other public spaces. But it's on us to be responsible stewards of the technology. If driving becomes so cheap and easy that we start taking cars everywhere, our streets might become even more congested than they are today. For the Peninsula Press, I'm Simone Stolzoff.